that. So what else do you have for me?
Well, we can go into our trios. We've got new coatings. We've got some exciting stuff happening, you know, within the double black line. So I think let's jump into our trio.
Okay.
And we get a lot of questions when it comes to, you know, Bead Maker's been a staple. We're going to go in and really clarify some questions that we've had on that. Paint gloss, something in our lineup that is in my hand. I know it's in your hands every single day. Every single day we're using this product. And then really what Dream Maker is all about and how it kind of plays into the trio package. So
so let's go through each one and define them. So like you said, it is our #1 question that we get on all of our platforms, right?
Absolutely.
They say, what is the difference between Bead Maker and Dream Maker? What's the difference with, you know, paint gloss? So let's go through what each one really does.
Absolutely.
So starting with paint gloss.
You know, it's a daily, it's in my hands. I use it for everything. So you can use it on door jams, as clay lube, cleanup, use it on my sunglasses. It's something, we prime our pads with it. And so there's so many uses now. You've had a couple of really unique things, and that's dog hair and interior. So explain that one a little bit.
So when we found out that paint gloss works as such a great anti-static when used on top of Bead Maker, which we'll go into that in just a minute, it has really great anti-static properties. So I started using it as a vacuum aid. So kind of just noticing when there was lots of dog hair and dirt, and I live in a really sandy area, and so wanted something that would help. If you can imagine when you're vacuuming and the sand just pops up, pops down, pops up, pops down, you know, and it's that static. And so I wanted to cut the static barrier. So I just started spritzing the carpet with the paint gloss and then vacuuming. All the sand would come up, all the dog hair would come up, just made it so much easier. So love it as an anti-static spray. That's probably my favorite.
So I got to ask you, is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups? Somebody at one time took chocolate and peanut butter and figured it out. So what's going through your mind is I'm vacuuming and I've got to see if this will work on dog hair. Seriously, just got to share that story because it is pretty cool.
So I mean, I knew that I needed something to cut the static barrier. I know that, you know, in other crazy applications, well, I have a daughter, right? And so, I mean, this is totally off track, but American dolls and like dolls with doll hair that gets all tangled, you could use fabric softener to cut the static barrier and then, you know, get the tangles out and stuff. So when I knew that this was an anti-static spray, that just kind of a bell rung in my head. Like, I wonder if this would help with dog hair. And the cool thing about it too is that it's just a couple spritz. So it's not like you're putting liquid in your vacuum, you know?
No.
So it totally works. And I mean, so I can't vacuum without it now.
No,
literally
you've got Diane hooked. You know, is that, and every student that comes through training now, you know, we teach that too. The other thing I use this for a lot is just daily on paint gloss is just going as a daily duster inside my vehicle. And so, you know, I hate to have dust. You know, I like to have, you know, anything on, if there's a speck on my dash or on the piano finish and on the center console, it drives me nuts. And so just as a quick smudge remover, it's fantastic. It does a great job. So let's back up a little bit because you've figured out a way. Again, we're going to credit you with the credit for this over Bead Maker, but let's go into Bead Maker and then come back to this. So a lot of clarifications. Bead Maker, you know, there's other products out there, but Bead Maker was really unique in that it was really the first spray protector of its kind. Is that one of the things that Dave, you know, just Anthony was just talking about Dave, he's a truth serum. And so he won't let us ever stretch the truth, even if we want to. Dave's by the book, right? And so SiO2, we always get asked this. Bead Maker is SiO2 based. Why didn't we say that from the beginning is because there's a lot of other people out there that have started using that term. They're at equal or lesser amounts of SiO2 than we are. We just didn't feel, it's not a ceramic spray. We all know that, you know, ceramic is a hand applied or spray, not a spray out of a bottle application. So we didn't feel comfortable stretching that fact a little bit, but it is SiO2 based. And so one of the things Bead Maker is coming into it, it's still a staple. We absolutely love it. A lot of people do. Again, multiple uses. Is that we're using it naturally as a protector, drying agent, as a maintenance product, as a topper when we get, not just on our coatings.
It plays well with almost anything, right? Even waxes. And I mean, I don't know any coatings that it doesn't play well with.
We really don't. The thing that a lot of people don't, and this blows people's mind, We use paint gloss as a clay lube. Bead Maker is an excellent clay lube, and when you're done, you don't have to put a protectant down because you just use the protectant as the lube.
Right. That's where I call that's my moneymaker. Right.
Seriously.
So, this is what I primarily do. If I'm not coating a car, I'm what we call wash clay seal. So that is where I'm using a clay towel and bead maker, and I'm decontaminating and protecting the paint in one shot. So that is probably my favorite function of bead maker. It's absolutely amazing.
Mine too.
It makes the car look amazing, feel amazing, and you get all of it in one shot.
And this is a curable product, meaning that as bead maker goes on, an hour or two later, it looks completely different. And when you use it in conjunction with clay, is the pop on it an hour or two later is insane. Even a whiter silver vehicle is going to just absolutely pop. And so it's amazing to watch that transition. So now going forward, so we're using this window as a window cleaner, as a cleaner on the glass panel. There's so many things. I use it on my computer. You know, as sunglasses. I mean, across the board. It's that friendly. Now, so some things about it. Let's talk about anti-static. Let's talk about dust collection. First off, anything in a spray line. When you put things on a car and you create static by wiping it. And we've talked to a lot of manufacturers, the good guys out there. And then B, just think about the physics of it. When you wipe on something, you create a little static.
You create a static charge.
Absolutely. So anything's really going to create a static charge to it and create a little more dust, especially in the finish. When you get it so fine and it's perfect and you take it outside. But something that you've been working with is putting paint gloss over the top of bead maker.
Basically because in my business, I was having to release the cars really soon after the bead maker application, and we all know that it is best left for a couple hours to cure because it is a true paint sealant. And so what I found is that if I wiped the car down with paint gloss right before delivering it to the customer, it kind of cut that static charge that the towel or whatever created in that rubbing process, whether it was the person or the towel. It cut that static charge and allowed me to release that vehicle much sooner and where it would collect less dust. So it just kind of, it just took away that static charge.
I love it. I love it.
So I figured that out, and that has been great. Also, I mean, it looks amazing.
It does. It really does.
It looks amazing.
It finishes it down right. Any sponges that you get. Now let's talk about direct sunlight and bead maker. We get a lot of mobile detailers or show people. You know, you've got cars right here. Is anything, again, the direct sun, you got to be careful with anything. The thing is I like to take and use a 2-towel method. And so I'm going to kind of get a towel pretty wet with bead maker. I'm going to rub it in, and I'm going to take a dry towel right back over it. And then a key that we've got is either coming back with paint gloss or Dream Maker behind that. So what's your methodology to that?
So definitely, and this is kind of goes back to our original question, is what is the difference? So bead maker is not a quick detailer, right? It's a sealant. So it's really not ideal to apply it in full sun. And so same thing, I put it on the towel, and then, use the 2-towel method. So it's really, you want to take the time to apply this product. It's not a quick detailer. It's not a quick wipe down. So that, I think that that's something, where we're trying to make sure we go through what the strengths of each product are. This is a true standalone sealant. And so you want to apply it as you would
with
old school, like with wax or anything. I mean, you want to get everywhere. You want an even application, and so do it in the best environment. So a lot of people ask, what if it's 100 degrees outside? What if it's 30 degrees outside? What do we do with bead maker?
And again, I think reason has it. So you want to try to get it into shade. You want to try to get it cool. You don't want it too cold, really below 60 degrees. I really don't like putting sprays on the paint anyway. It doesn't matter what it is. But in this case with bead maker, really that ideal temperature is under 100 degrees and above, I would say 60 in my environment. And we've done a lot of mobile detailing through the years, whether it be on aircraft or out of Monterey and so forth. We've seen the exact same thing. Longevity is another question, is how long is it going to last? Longevity depends a lot on how you're taking care of the vehicle, what's already on the vehicle, has it been clayed, but we're saying, the price of the product. Listen, labor is expensive, product's cheap, and bead maker is a really affordable product to put on. Is that in my harsh environment at home, we're getting a solid 3 months out of it. A solid 3 months, and that's on a car that is moderately maintained in a garage.
Yeah.
It might be a little less in my environment, but I'm at almost 7,000 feet. We've got a lot of stuff in the air. So what are you finding here in an environment like Boise?
So, like I said, I primarily apply Bead Maker using a clay towel, and I don't know the science behind this, but I feel like there's some magic that happens when you clay with Bead Maker, because
I do too.
I see it lasting close to 6 months, if not longer, when applied that way. A lot of my customers that come back at that 6-month mark, it's still present. And so I don't know what the magic is, but I believe there's some magic that happens when
I do too.
playing with it.
Well, I think it's because we'd have to talk to Dave or you know, Michael.
I think it's because it removes the contamination,
Absolutely.
leaves the paint pores wide open, and it
smooth.
really gets a good bond.
Smooth. It's going down there. It's grabbing a hold of it, expanding, holding on to it instead of just sitting on the surface.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, again, that's just going to depend. And again, when in doubt, you know, I stack it. I know a lot of people don't like stacking things. I use Bead Maker as a drying agent after every single wash. But with the drying agent, it's reduced down. And so it's not at its full strength like it is when you apply it. But once every 3 months, I do apply it onto the naked paint, and you can feel and see a difference. It pops it even on a well-maintained car. And then even our daughter's car, that's, you know, she's just turned 18. And she doesn't take care of it perfectly, but she is very picky about her cars. But we at least get 2 or 3 months out of it, and that's on a car that sits outside and is not well maintained. So now we go into Dream Makers. So our trio. So how do you see, you know, when we developed Dream Maker, you know, and we had, I mean, if you take and look who's on this, is Gordon McCall, is when we had Gordon involved in this and we developed it for his project last year. How did you see Dream Maker and how have you used it since that time?
So it is just a car show gloss amplifier. So that is its one job. This product gets an award because it literally just has one job. So, but what we have found, and so going back to car show gloss amplifier. So what this is going to do is this is going to really make that paint pop. It's going to give it that depth and the glow, the warm glow that we miss from not using Carnauba waxes, right?
Absolutely.
So it's kind of that in a bottle. It just gives it that nice pop, and it is so easy to apply.
It is, and it kind of, let's go over the static situation, is it is going to give an anti-static topper to the surface over Bead Maker. You can use that as a combo or standalone. And so it's going to go there. So it really is a magical. So, okay, you ready?